All right, gamers, time to be a knight in medieval times with Lancaster, the big box edition. Let's check it out. In Lancaster, you are going to start with your little player marker here. That would go right there at the top, or actually to 0 to 100 right there. You also have different level knights, 1 through 4. You're going to start with a level 1 and 2 knight. You can later on upgrade these knights. As you see, these knights, the level 1's the smallest, where this level 4 is the thickest. So they do have, height balances there, which are really nice. And you do have some extra 1s and 2s in your stable that you can upgrade to. You're also going to start off with 2 squires. You're going to get 2 coins, of course a voting cube. You're going to get this really awesome player shield, which kind of gives you some information down there about max points to score on certain things. And look at that, it looks like a castle. How cool. This is the best player shield they have ever made. That is just awesome. You're also going to get one of these little player boards of your color. As you see, here's all 5 players here. In the big box edition, they have things for all 5 players. Purple's the new player. And it just has places to put your nobles, which I'll explain what nobles are. These are castle movements. I'll explain those. Reserved for knights, and any extra voting cubes can go here. Now, in addition to this, you will also get some matching colors of castle upgrades. Those castle upgrades, you're going to start with upgrading 1 sliver of this castle. So for instance, this one's for 2 squires. I can put this down here and boom, automatically I'm going to get that reward at the end of each round instead of having to put a knight down there. Now you get to choose which one you want to upgrade, and throughout the game you'll be able to upgrade more of your castle and get more special abilities, but I'll get to that in a minute. Another thing you are starting off with is 2 voting tiles, 1 for yay and 1 for nay. So in this game, you're trying to do several things. Now, first off, you're going to decide who plays first, and after that, whoever has this nice, thick building block here is going to be the first player. But of course, you have to claim the first player from someone to be the first player going forward. And what you're doing is you're going to be sending out your level 1 and level 2 knight all around the board or in Crusades to get rewards to build up your stable and your place, and of course to get more and more powerful. Now in a 2-player game of this, alternate game of this, they actually have this little extra castle here, which lets you upgrade knights or claim a level 1 knight if you put someone there. That's for the 2-player game, which I'm not going to go over. They also have extra little sideboards if you want to place, coins and squires and voting cubes on. You can do that as well. This is expected for every Queen game. They go above and beyond in their production. It's always A+. So what you're doing here is you're going around the land here and you're placing these knights out here one at a time. Each player is going to place one out here. Now there are limits to where you can go. For instance, a level 1 knight can only go to places that have the 1 on it. So here you see it's a 4, this one's a 2, this one's a 3. I can't place my level 1 knight in any of those places. But anything that's a level 1, they can go on. So let's say I want to take over Belfort. I can go there. Well, let's say player 2, which is red player, man, they want Belfort. And so they're going to bump me out with a level 2. Now that sucks, but there's other things I can do to ensure that that never happens. What I can use, one of the reasons we can use our squires, is they can help me get a +1 on this. So if I put here and put 1 squire on it, that's basically a +2. So if red wants to bump me out, he can't do it with a 2, he'd have to do it with a 3. If he had a level 3, he could bump me out. Now, if he bumps me out and I do have a squire there, I lose that squire. That squire is out of the game. I get my knight back and I have to replace him on the board, but I lose that squire. Now, what if I put 2 squires on my level 1? Can he go to a level 3 now? No, he cannot. Remember, they can only go to where their shield is, so only 1s total. I can move up to a level 3, but here's the other thing. If red was a level 2 there, My level 1 knight with 2 squires, which would be a 3, can that bump him out? Negative, because a 2 will always be stronger than a 1. Now, if I got there first and I had 2 squires on there, that level 2 couldn't beat me. He'd have to get a level 3. A little confusing there, but that's kind of how it goes. Now, as you're placing these out, you're looking to take advantage of 2 different things here. One is nobles. As you see, each one of these has a different noble. There's stacks of them. And when you win that, at the end of the round, when everyone's placed all their knights, if you win it, you get to choose either the special reward, as you see here, each one has a special reward, or the noble. Now, special rewards can be anything. This one gives you 6 victory points. This one gives you an upgrade and 2 voting cubes. This is just upgrade. These are castle upgrades here. This one gives you a level 1 knight and 2 voting cubes, 2 squires and 2 coins. This one lets you go and fight in the Crusade after getting something. So that's kind of neat. Like you can block this from someone and then jump into the Crusade and get some extra points. I'll talk about Crusades in a minute. Now, if you want to activate both of them, you're going to have to pay some coinage, and you're going to have to pay 3 coins, and you can use both. So for instance, I only got 2 coins, I wouldn't be able to use both, but if I did have 3 coins, I could pay 3 coins, take the noble, and also take the special advantage, which may be something you'll want to do in the game. Anyway, everyone goes around in turn order, takes all their rewards if they need it. Now, what are the nobles for? Well, you can get one of each lettered noble, and the letters are A through I, and you have to be in that area and win it to get that noble. When you gain a noble, you're actually gaining more voting cubes, which are these little things. These are very important when we get to voting on laws, which I'll get to in a minute. But also, the more nobles that you have, not only do you get more voting cubes that round, but you can also get more points. So, you know, if I collected up to here, I get about 15 points at the end, or maximum 36 if I had them all filled up, A through I. And so that's how you can do, you put the nobles down there and you're slowly gathering up, and it's just basically a point gathering system. If you collect them all, the bigger the collection, the more points you have at the end. Now, if I already got an A, I can't get 2 A nobles. I can only get 1 of each noble. So you're trying to fill up your board with nobles, A, to give you more power in the courts, which we'll talk about in a minute, and, of course, for victory points at the end. Now, that's one thing you can do. Another thing you can do is go on a crusade. Every round, 2 cards will pop up, and there'll be some crusades you can go on. And as you see, some of these are harder than others. For instance, this one, we have to have a total of 9 or more knights to win this crusade. This one's kind of easier. This is 7. Now, they range from all different ones. Here's a 3, there's a 10, 8, 4, 2. So they all range differently. Now, what this means, why would you want to go on a crusade? Well, if you went on a crusade, instead of placing a knight over here, you'd place it over here. When you place a knight in one of these 3 open tokens places here, you get to pick one of these reward tokens. And they can be anything. They can be 3 gold coins, or 2 squires, or 2 gold coins and 1 squire if these were already taken. They can be, hey, grab a noble from any area, or upgrade a knight. That's really cool. Now, once you take it, that's it. So the next person comes in, they would have to take one of these. And if the third person came in, they would take one of these, and that's what you would have left. But of course, you have 2 areas, so there's 6 spaces, so all of them could be taken on crusades. And you could take all these tokens, and then you'd cash them in at the end of the round. Now, let's say during the game, during this round, red puts a 3 there, so now we have 5 and 7. And then yellow puts 1 right here. Now, this battle actually got won, right? Because we have 7 points. And that's all we took to defeat it. So here's what's going to happen. The one who donated the most is going to get 6 victory points. Well, that is red, easily. Second place, it gets 3. Uh-oh. Well, blue and yellow both contributed 2. So who's going to get that 3? It's actually going to be yellow. The last person to contribute to the crusade also breaks a tie, so they would get 3. And blue, for his involvement in the crusade, would get 1 victory point. Now, let's say yellow didn't play that and the round ended. What would happen in the next round? In the next round, all of these crusades would shift down, as would their fellow knights. So your knight could be tied in there for at least another round once you use them. And you don't get to pick rewards. You get rewards for the ones up here in the blue, not the ones in the green. Now, after the third round, if still no one, let's say we had over here, and that's 7. Well, I can't put any more knights there. I can't put knights on top of that either. We're just going to lose that battle there. All right, that's fine, because when the battle's lost, it goes off the board and your knights return back to you. So crusades that don't get won can take your knights out of commission for at least a turn or two if they don't get won. If they get won, you also get victory points as well. So that's how crusades work there. Now, a third option you can do is if you don't win anything out in the field and you don't want to go on a crusade, you can actually just go into your own player board and play a knight in any one of these areas and collect the rewards. For instance, if I play a knight here, all I have to do is pay 3 squires and I get a level 1 knight. If I go here, I get 2 more coin. If I get here, I get a coin and a squire. If I go here, I would get 2 squires. If I go here, I get 2 voting cubes. If I go here, I can pay 2 squires and upgrade a knight. Okay? So that gives you your ability. And of course, like I said, upgrades, if you had an upgrade, for instance, let's say I upgraded this wall here. Well, that means at any time I can put in 3 squires and get a level 1 knight. And then sometimes at the end of the round you may get 2 coins and it's automatically filled in. So the more you complete your castle, the more powerful you will be in the game. Now after you've settled, you know, all the land, if someone was here, they get first player and, you know, two coins and 2 squires there. After you've settled, you know, who's won out here and any rewards from going on crusades, then you're going to go to the court. And here's this beautiful little sideboard. You go over to the side where you would have laws. You'll have a stack of laws like so, and you'll put them over here, and you'll put them in descending order. As you see, they have a 0, they go up to 1, 2, I just grabbed a few of them, 4, and I put them in order. You're going to put them in order, and that's the order of how the laws are going to go. And you're going to stack them down here. You're going to shuffle them according to their number there. So there'll be a little bit, but the 0 laws will go out first. They'll go across the board. They can do different things, like for instance, let's see, whoever has the most money, they're going to get a free upgrade. Whoever has the most squires, they're going to get a level 1 knight. The book tells you what each one of these do. But these laws are going to start right down here on the board, 1, 2, and 3. And these laws, you're going to put them up here. And you're going to get to vote on each one of these laws. Now this is very important because when the voting, you're going to use those voting cubes that you collected by getting nobles or by going around the board or on your own player board and get these voting cubes and of course these voting tiles. And what you're going to do is you're going to look at the next law here. Oh, anyone who has a level 1, 2, 3, and 4 knight is going to get 6 victory points. Well, maybe that's me. I have all 4 out. I definitely want this to pass. But then the other 2, they don't have a level 4 knight yet, so they don't want this to pass. Because if it passes, I'm going to get 6 victory points, and they don't want that. So we put these in our hand, cover them, reveal. 2 players pick no, I pick yes, I lose. Aha, but wait. What if I had some voting cubes with my vote? If I put 2 voting cubes in here, then my 1 vote plus my 2 voting cubes would cancel out 2 X's if they had it. Heck, I wouldn't have to put 2 because a tie, if there's ever a tie, let's say there's 2 X's here and there's my, yay with a voting cube, the king always votes yes on a tiebreaker because the king always loves new laws. He loves making laws. So even in a tie, the yays always have it. Now, at some times in the game, you may not want to vote on any of these laws because once you vote on the law, it goes into effect and it will push the laws out of the way. So you'll bring it through here, you bring it here, and it'll push the next law out this way. And so there may be some laws that you may want to hold on to. It's like, man, I don't want to vote for any of these. Even though I really like this, I don't want this law to go away. So you're trying to deep 6 3 laws so this one won't be pushed out. Some players, they don't really care about these laws, but they're going to vote for them just to push some of these old laws out that benefit you. This is more strategic than it looks in the game. Believe me, this is a very strategic part of the game here, having new rules. Now, of course, in this game, in the big box expansion, I should say, there are several mini expansions, like in a big box Queen Games always has. It has 3. One is very simple. It's new voting tiles. you know, if you get, if you don't like the old ones, here's some new ones you can shuffle into the game and kind of switch it up a little bit. And they're just new laws, and they tell you what each one of them mean, even though a lot of them are self-explanatory. But that's one mini expansion, is new laws. Now the next expansion is a little bit bigger. It's called the King's Power and the King's Resentment. I don't know if they're trying to say these are two different ones, but this is the King's Power, this is the King's Resentment. I love that title, by the way. So anyway, King's Power. Okay, in the King's Power, you're trying to go, you have this little noble token of your color. So for instance, here's yellow's player. So you have this little noble who's going to court, and they're trying to win the king's favor and get one of his appointments. They want to be High Counselor, High Constable, or Great Chamberlain. Now how they do that is, all they have to do is put one in there. They can be bumped out by another player. Let's say green player comes in. They can choose a level 1 knight to go in with them and bully this guy out. Okay? And then of course someone can come back in with a level 2 knight, level 3 knight. So that's how you can get your stronger noble if they come with backup, with bodyguards. But for every time you try to make a bid for one of these, you have to pay to the king. So here you'd have to pay a voting cube. Here you would pay a squire. Here you would have to pay a gold coin. And all this would go into a slush fund right here. Now at any time during the round, you may put your noble here and claim all of it. Whatever's been, there may be some bickering going back and forth of trying to get different, jockeying for different spots, and this pile may be worth it. So you may say, you know what, my noble's going to go right there, and he grabs everything there. Now there's enough spaces for 3 nobles to do that over the round. There could be some crazy bidding here, and you may say, nope, screw it, I'm just going to go here and give up on that and grab this stuff. So anyway, what do you get when you get one of these 3 titles? You'll get these cards, High Constable, Counselor, and Chamberlain, depending on which one you win. And you're going to get some special abilities in the game. For instance, the High Counselor, if you get him, you're going to get 2 seals, which I'll talk about seals in a minute, plus a shield. A shield is really nice. It can be used on that next round. A shield will go with your knight. Any knight, so level 1. I put my level 1 knight here and I give him a shield. Guess what? There's not even a level 4 could bump a level 1 if he has a shield. So it almost guarantees that you don't get bumped off the board. That is pretty cool. Now, if you got the High Constable, you're going to get 1 seal and you're going to get one of these archer tokens. Now archers are kind of neat because they can only fight in crusades. So instead of wasting a knight to go to a crusade, you can send one of your archers and grab the reward. Heck, if you want to take something down by yourself, you know, maybe you have a level 4 there and you need extra help but you don't want to put any knights, you can put your archer there. Archers only fight in crusades, and of course they're gone after that crusade is over. Because each round, you're going to be jockeying for this position for the next round. So you're always looking for the king's favor the entire time to gain his power. Now the Great Chamberlain, basically they gave you this little rose shield guy, and that he just counts as a level 2 knight. He can be played anywhere on the board with you. So those are kind of the special bonuses you get in the king's power. Now in the King's Resentment, which goes with it, you see you have seals and bishops. What are bishops? Well, bishops are these little characters here, and bishops are very nice because instead of upgrading to a level 1 knight, you may want to upgrade and get a bishop instead. Bishops can't go anywhere on the board. They can't fight in crusades, duh, but they can fight for you in court. And they can go into the king's court and do some stuff. So it gives you someone on top of, let me see, I was blue player. So on top of blue player's noble, you can also have a bishop jockeying for position here. So that's really nice. But what makes it even cooler is, let's say I got 4 of these seals over at the end of the game. And I was able to acquire 3 bishops in the game. Okay, at the end of the game, what you're going to do is you're going to multiply your seals times your bishops. So 3 times 4 is 12. I would get 12 points at the end of the game. So bishops and seals also count as bonus points at the end of the game, which is super cool. The last one here are these little tokens. What you're going to do, depending on the number of players, and the book will tell you, you're going to stack these people across the board here. Each time that a crusade moves off the board. It's lost, like no one won it. The king's going to say, let me see, okay, who didn't contribute to that battle? There's only 3 spots, so there's a way, there may be people, any color that didn't contribute to that lost crusade, they're going to get one of these, and they're going to suffer the king's resentment. Now, these aren't bad at first, but once each stack disappears, as you see, these count for negative points. So if this stack disappears, they're worth -2, -4, 6, 8, 10. As you see, the more they're taken up, the more dangerous these are. These are negative points in the game. And there's only one way to get rid of them. That's go ahead, put your guys in the stock here, and you can get rid of 3 of these resentments. Now, it's kind of cool. You just basically drop any level knight you want in there, whoop, and there's room enough for 7 points in there. So if I dropped a 4 in there, that would be it. You cannot put any more knights in there. Now, why would you want to drop a level 4 in there if it's going to get you the same as a level 1? Well, because if I do that, that blocks all the other players from putting anything in there. So that's why you want to drop the big ones in there probably. Now, in a fewer player game, like a 2-player game, they said to drop a, I think it's a 2-layer knight of a color you're not using in there. You know, so it'd be only 5 points available, but there's 7 points available in a 4 to 5 player game, and that is just a really cool idea because you're definitely going to be wanting to play some knights there so you can get rid of some of this resentment, serve your time, and not suffer all these negative bonus points at the end of the game. Now, the third and final one is a very mini expansion. It's just called the reward tiles. And what these are, as you see, you're going to randomly draw these out of a bag, and whatever number they have on, letter they have on them, you're going to put that letter and replace the current reward with one of these. And these, of course, play with the expansion because this one gives you a seal, gets you a noble of your choice, gets you 3 victory points. Sometimes it's good, sometimes, well, most times it's good. Now, again, if you want to take advantage of both, you have to pay 3 coins to get the noble and this. You may not, let's say if I put this 3-pointer on top of this 6, okay, can I pay another 3 coins to get 9? No, you can't. You only get the special reward tile. This basically just kind of, you know, makes it a little bit more fresh. You pull 1 out per round. Once it's claimed, it's out of the game. So it actually adds a little bit more randomness to the game and a little more playability because there's different rewards in there than the regular ones. And that is Lancaster. Final thoughts on the game. What do I think about it? Folks, let me see. See that emblem right there? That means I love it. I am a big fan of Queen Games. I think a lot of their stuff is really, really good. Lancaster, yeah, it's definitely worth it. We first played it at BGG-Con. I remember setting it up and thinking, is this going to be even fun? It doesn't look as fun. Then I saw the player shield. We put it together. I was like, oh yeah, it should be fun. It's incredibly fun. But the more than just having fun, because a lot of the Queen Games stuff they bring out is super fun to play. This one is smooth. It goes fast. My only complaint is the game's over before you know it. It is really a smooth game, goes quickly. You are always involved for where people are going because you're trying to locate, okay, what are they going for here? You're trying to block out other people. You're getting blocked out. You got to know when to use your squires. The rules, voting on new laws, that's like a separate game, but equally important. It is just really fancy. It's like Twilight Imperium a little bit. It's like Twilight Imperium Minor in the Middle Ages. That's what this is. You know, because you're building armies, you're trying to pass new laws. That kind of scenarios it has. It's great. It's great. Now, the first time you play it, you don't want to play it with the expansions. Just play it with the base game. This is one where you don't have to get the big box. It says here that I noticed it said expansions 1 and 2. So the other expansion I showed you is like a Queenie, a short little game, a little expansion you can just add on to give it more flavor. Those reward tiles is what it was. So those types of things are neat and nice to have. Are they necessary? Not really. You can get the base game and survive and have a ton of fun. The reason I suggest the big box is new laws are always good. It breaks up the monotony because let me tell you the truth. You play this a couple of times with the old laws, you know what's coming up, you know what to do, you know what to prepare for. So throwing in some new laws and switching things up a little bit ain't that bad. And it's I think it's a very good thing for the game. But adding in the King's Power and the King's Resentment expansions add a whole nother layer to this game. And it still runs smooth. It still runs smooth even with all of its expansions. Nothing slows it down. Nothing is clunky about it. Like I said again, game's over before you know it, and you're just left with a smile on your face. All right, gamers, that's all the time I have for now. Until next time, game on.